The narrative opens by introducing the female protagonist, Lin Sha, a passionate and creative fashion designer. Dissatisfied with the constraints of her previous employment, where her artistic freedom was severely limited, she has recently made the bold decision to resign. She has since found a new professional environment that not only allows but encourages her to pursue the designs she genuinely loves, marking a positive turn in her career. In a parallel introduction, we meet the male lead Liu Yuhong, a figure of significant fame in the world of esports. His prowess has garnered him a massive following, and the drama's first glimpse of him shows him in a frantic sprint, attempting to evade an enthusiastic swarm of fans. It is during this hurried escape that their worlds literally collide. Yuhong bumps squarely into Lin Sha. The encounter is immediately tense. Lin Sha, expecting a simple apology, is met with silence and indifference from the esports star. His assistant, Liu Yan, arrives on the scene shortly after, but the moment for courtesy has passed. Later, Lin Sha finds herself on an errand for a friend who deeply admires the CEO of a certain company. Tasked with obtaining an autograph from this elusive figure, Lin Sha enters the corporate building, only to be met with a shocking revelation. The admired CEO is none other than the rude Liu Yuhong himself. Their mutual recognition is instantaneous and charged with annoyance. Yuhong, with a characteristic air of arrogance, dismisses her story about a friend, smugly accusing her of fabricating the tale to conceal her own fandom. Infuriated by his condescension, Lin Sha's temper flares, and in a moment of impulsive retaliation, she gives his office chair a sharp push from behind, sending him tumbling to the floor in a decidedly undignified manner. The scene then shifts to reveal a common, albeit hidden, trait between the two protagonists, an almost obsessive need for cleanliness. We see them both independently engaged in deep cleaning their respective apartments. The following morning, a sudden stomach ache forces Lin Sha to seek help from her neighbor. To her profound dismay, the door opens to reveal Liu Yuhong. Her chagrin is palpable as she exclaims that had she known he lived there, she would have suffered in silence. Yuhong responds with chilly detachment, stating a firm policy of not interacting with neighbors, and moves to shut the door. In a moment of sheer desperation, Lin Sha physically forces her way past him to use his washroom. Once the immediate crisis is averted, she calls a young man named Murin. Their relationship is a complex one. Though they grew up together and Lin Sha considers him a brother, Murin does not reciprocate this familial sentiment. She instructs him to bring her spare apartment key to the neighbor's address. In a bid to prolong her stay until Murin arrives and to perhaps smooth over the forced entry, Lin Sha offers to clean Yuhong's windows. He agrees but imposes a strict condition. She must thoroughly clean his entire apartment within a single week. While engaged in this task, exhaustion overtakes her and she falls asleep on his sofa. Yuhong, more concerned for the pristine condition of his furniture than her comfort, resolves to fetch a blanket to protect the fabric. It is in this quiet moment that he finds himself unexpectedly captivated by her appearance as she sleeps. Meanwhile, Murin, growing anxious from her absence, repeatedly calls Yuhong's phone. Yuhong ignores the calls, eventually responding via text with a blunt Lin Sha has fallen asleep, which only serves to heighten Murin's concern. Later, Lin Sha is in the kitchen preparing noodles when she is startled by Yuhong's sudden presence behind her, causing her to lose her balance. In her dream, he catches her, a moment that brings her happiness. In reality, however, he only saves the bowl of noodles from crashing to the floor. Enforcing a previously established rule, he forbids her from eating the noodles, citing his prohibition against her using the kitchen. Lin Sha, ever resourceful, offers to cook for him as well, a suggestion that is immediately validated by an audible gurgle from his stomach. She successfully persuades him, but just as she does, Murin arrives and whisks her away. In a subsequent mishap, Murin attempts to fix a toilet in Lin Sha's apartment but ends up flooding the entire place, earning her ire. She scolds him for not seeking professional help, to which he retorts that doing so would risk exposing his celebrity identity and ruining his reputation. At Yuhong's office, he is the object of silent admiration from a girl named Su Nan. During a meeting, he is presented with a contract to sign, but he refuses and abruptly departs. Meanwhile, Lin Sha is facing a housing crisis. The flood has rendered her apartment temporarily uninhabitable, and she is struggling to find new, affordable lodging. Yuhong unexpectedly intervenes, summoning her and reminding her of her week-long cleaning obligation. While she is distracted by her phone during the chore, he approaches from behind, startling her once again. This time, they both tumble to the floor, taking several of his expensive showpieces down with them. Lin Sha profusely apologizes. The stress of the situation triggers a stomach ache for Yuhong. Though Lin Sha shows concern, he brushes her off, insisting he is fine and self-medicates. When she asks what would happen if she touched him, he sharply orders her to stay away. Lin Sha begins to doubt the wisdom of staying, yet feels compelled to find a way to secure his permission. A sudden power outage plunges the apartment into darkness, revealing a hidden phobia in Yuhong, who becomes visibly frightened. Lin Sha calmly comforts him. When apartment staff announce the power will be out for some time, Lin Sha resolves to continue her apartment hunt. Surprisingly, Yu Hong stops her, offering to let her stay. When she clarifies if he means temporarily, he surprisingly amends it to forever. That evening, she cooks for him, and in a peculiar act of possessiveness, he ties their wrists together with a handkerchief to prevent her from leaving. She attempts conversation, but his silence leads her to label him as arrogant. The next morning, Yu Hong wakes and frees his hand, feeling a wave of embarrassment as he recalls the previous night's vulnerability. He then presents Lin Sha with a formal contract outlining the benefits of their cohabitation, all of which heavily favor him, arguing that since the house is his, the advantages should be too. At mealtime, he petulantly removes a handmade placemat she has set, declaring such items unwelcome. Lin Sha retaliates by telling him not to eat the food she prepared, but he quietly eats it anyway, a silent admission that he has grown accustomed to her presence and does not want her to leave. While Lin Sha is at the market, she meets Murin. During their conversation, he deduces she is now living with her neighbor. That night, Yu Hong observes from his window as Murin lingers outside with Lin Sha refusing to leave. Murin expresses a desire to enter Yu Hong's home, but Lin Sha refuses. The sight of them together unsettles Yu Hong. Later, he is seen researching a young girl on his laptop. At dinner, Lin Sha loudly compliments her own cooking, prompting Yu Hong, who has come for water, to ask if her boyfriend minds her living situation. She clarifies that Murin is not her boyfriend. As he begins to eat, she accidentally spills food on his shirt, causing him to storm off. Later, during a call with her mother, Lin Sha confirms she is living with a girl, only to suddenly remember she left her bra in the shared washroom. Yu Hong discovers it and returns it to her using a hanger, lecturing her about bacteria and proper hygiene before retreating to his room, blushing. Lin Sha is amused, wondering why he is so flustered. Yu Hong, for his part, begins to see visions of Lin Sha everywhere he looks. While jogging, he is approached by Su Nan, who questions him about his team. He ignores her, prompting her to reveal she knows about his long-standing search for missing family members. In a related subplot, a subordinate from his former team has become its new leader and threatens that unless Yu Hong increases their funding, they will not qualify for the championship. Yu Hong then receives an anonymous call from someone claiming they can help find his missing person. He tasks his assistant, Liu Yan, with tracing the number, but the investigation yields no results. While Lin Sha is with Murin in public, he's recognized by fans, causing a commotion. Simultaneously, Yu Hong, following the anonymous caller's instructions, enters a shop whose shutter suddenly closes, trapping him in darkness. His childhood trauma surfaces and he crouches, covering his ears in terror. Lin Sha calls him, and though he cannot speak, she intuitively understands he is trapped in a dark place. She manages to coax his location from him, finds him, and rescues him. The next morning, he awakens to find her watching over him. His first concern is his changed clothes, and he chastises her for a girl changing them. She retorts that she saved him and he's worried about clothes, then offers him food. He refuses to eat there, demanding to go out instead. Murin arrives and confronts Yu Hong, who provokes him by stating that Lin Sha changed his clothes and cooked for him, making Murin furious. Meanwhile, a character named Wiz Han from Yu Hong's former team notes that while they failed to capture him, they have discovered his weakness, darkness. Back at the apartment, Yu Hong cannot find his towel. Lin Sha informs him she washed it and offers him a new pink one, privately finding the image of him using it hilarious. As they eat, she reads a book about love, confessing she fell in love with herself in kindergarten. To her surprise, Yu Hong says, "Me too," and smiles. Later, he enters her room and picks up her mug, but when he hears her returning, she forgot her phone for a traditional exhibition. He pretends to be looking for water and drinks from it. He is later bewildered by his own action as he never touches others' belongings. Comedic phone swap occurs. Liu Yan calls Yu Hong, but Lin Sha answers. Lin Sha's friend Han calls her, but Yu Hong answers. They had accidentally taken each other's phones. During the ensuing confusion, they discover the contact names they have for each other. She has saved him as mansplaining expert, and he has saved her as danger zone. Later, at a traditional exhibition, Lin Sha is supposed to dance and is surprised to find her partner is Murin, who had arranged it. During the dance, they fall and Murin prevents her from getting up. Yu Hong arrives, pulls Murin away, and escorts Lin Sha out. They retrieve their respective phones and meticulously clean them. In a supportive gesture, Yu Hong gives Lin Sha a certificate for a market stall, fulfilling her dream of starting her own business. Overjoyed, she hugs him. In the privacy of his room, Yu Hong replays the hug. Lin Sha's first live stream for her stall fails to attract viewers and she falls asleep. The next morning, she confirms her stall setup and encounters Liu Yan on her way out. They share gossip about Yu Hong, unaware that he is sitting in his car nearby, overhearing every word. He had intended to drive her to the stall. After a successful day of sales, Lin Sha counts her earnings at home and gives Liu Yan his share. When she offers him juice in a glass, he hesitates, nodding. Yu Hong forbids anyone from using it. However, Yu Hong unexpectedly gives permission. As Lin Sha shows Liu Yan dresses, Yu Hong deliberately knocks the table, causing his favorite glass to shatter. Lin Sha, believing it was her fault, offers to pay for it. He sets a price of 1,640. She negotiates down, citing it wasn't new, but he counters by raising the price. She eventually agrees to his original price, realizing she was outmaneuvered. Liu Yan ultimately pays the sum. Lin Sha later tells her friend Bing that her neighbor Yu Hong is the famous gamer Bislu. Bing, an avid fan, begs for an introduction. Reluctantly, Lin Sha asks Yu Hong, who agrees primarily because he doesn't want to upset her and risk her moving out. That evening, Yu Hong, Liu Yan, Lin Sha, and Bing have a group meeting. Liu Yan posts a photo of them online, which Su Nan sees. She calls Yu Hong repeatedly, and when he doesn't answer, she calls Liu Yan. During this call, Su Nan hears Lin Sha's voice in the background and becomes silent. In a playful act of revenge for the earlier gossip, Lin Sha brings Yu Hong a cold drink which upsets his stomach. When he needs the washroom, she occupies it, pretending to be on her phone to annoy him. He eventually confronts her and she accidentally admits to tampering with his drink. As penance, he orders her to stay by his side until he falls asleep. The next day at her stall, Bing and Liu Yan are present. Liu Yan has brought food for Bing. Yu Hong arrives needing a plate. Bing wants a photo with the famous Bislu, and the group takes a picture together. A representative from a major clothing company visits her stall and criticizes her design for adding buttons to a traditional hanfu dress, which typically has none. Humiliated, Lin Sha decides to stop selling dresses altogether, despite Liu Yan's protests about the lost business. Murin passes by, sees the crowd, and is recognized, causing a frenzy. As Lin Sha tries to help him, Yu Hong extracts her from the chaos, during which she injures her foot. He carries her home and tenderly applies a bandage, a moment filled with mutual shyness and budding affection. Su Nan visits and engages in a subtle rivalry with Lin Sha, each trying to prove who Yu Hong cares for more. Later, Liu Yan informs Yu Hong that he saw Su Nan leaving the house in tears. At dinner, Lin Sha pointedly removes the handmade placemats. Liu Yan suggests Yu Hong apologize, speculating that Su Nan said something to upset her. Yu Hong refuses, claiming he did nothing wrong. Liu Yan then reveals that Lin Sha is going on an outing the next day and suggests Yu Hong join her, but Yu Hong claims they're not that close. In a separate conversation, Bing confesses to Lin Sha that she likes Liu Yan. The next day, Liu Yan, Bing, and Lin Sha go out without Yu Hong. During a live stream, a drunk Murin grabs Lin Sha, causing a crowd to form and her to fall. Yu Hong arrives to rescue her once more. As they walk home, he rests his head on her shoulder and she feels butterflies, telling him, "It's dark on the road, but I am with you." The following day, Yu Hong skips work to clean the house with Lin Sha. While cleaning a window, she draws his face on the glass. He replaces the drawing with his actual face and asks what she's doing. She teases that he looks like a grandpa, making him laugh. She asks him to smile again. When her phone and laptop break, she tries to use his computer to check her account while he is live streaming. He leaves his camera on while showering, and Liu Yan, watching the stream, sees her at the computer and alerts Yu Hong. By the time Yu Hong arrives, she has messed up his computer. He solves her problem by offering her any computer or phone from his collection of gifts. Offended, she asks what he takes her for. He then proposes she pay for a new device, leading to a new contract where she agrees to pay in installments, clean the house for 3 more weeks, and not leave without permission. While fixing her laptop, Yu Hong discovers the hateful comments she received after the live stream incident with Murin. He instructs Liu Yan to ensure no one on his team mentions it to her. To distract her from the laptop, he holds her face and asks if she thinks his eyelashes are long. She retorts that they look trimmed. Later, after a shower, Lin Sha realizes she has no clothes and emerges wearing only a shirt from the bathroom. Yu Hong sees her and asks if she is trying to get his attention. She defiantly replies that she sees him as a sister, not a man. He coolly responds that her state of dress is therefore irrelevant to him. Lin Sha and Bing are offered a tour of a company by its boss, Mr. Ding, and Lin Sha subsequently accepts a job there, working under a staff member named Miss Bai. A hanfu dress arrives for her at home. As she dusts it, Yu Hong moves aside and she assumes he is checking her cleaning. He confirms this. Meanwhile, Bing confides in Liu Yan about her parents' potential divorce. In a moment of clumsiness, Liu Yan almost falls and Bing catches him, bringing them close and creating a shy, intimate moment. Yu Hong is seen using a website he created to search for someone. Reporters, due to the viral livestream, begin hounding Lin Sha. Yu Hong tries to sneak her through a market but is intercepted by Murin, who grabs her hand. Back home, Yu Hong firmly tells Murin that Lin Sha will not be leaving. Bing and Liu Yan visit, and Bing reveals that Murin's cousin was asking about Lin Sha, but she said nothing. The cousin, Jin Xuan, arrives, recognizes Yu Hong as Bislu, and states he is only there to collect Murin. Yu Hong forcibly escorts Murin out. Later, Bing makes a wish on a star, with Liu Yan watching her fondly. Lin Sha asks Yu Hong to stargaze with her, but he refuses. He poses a hypothetical question about dealing with false stories from followers, and she says she would ignore them. She begins drawing on the window and beckons him closer to tell him who taught her. As he approaches, she falls into his lap when he opens the window, and they share a prolonged, meaningful gaze. At the office, Mr. Ding praises one of Lin Sha's designs. Su Nan, reading negative comments about Lin Sha online, is approached by Wiz Han, who suggests they teach her a lesson. Reporters subsequently ambush Lin Sha, asking about her relationships with both Yu Hong and Murin. Murin intervenes, declaring her his girlfriend and Yu Hong her brother. Yu Hong arrives and, when asked, confirms the brotherly relation. Liu Yan later criticizes him for this, even if it was to protect her. Murin takes a distraught Lin Sha to his home, where she cries over Yu Hong, defining their relationship as sibling-like. Bing pleads with her to return to Yu Hong's apartment, while Liu Yan and Bing similarly urge Yu Hong to apologize and bring her back. Lin Sha decides to retrieve her belongings from Yu Hong's apartment. Murin accompanies her but waits downstairs. Liu Yan and Bing devise a plan for Yu Hong to fake an illness to garner her sympathy. However, Lin Sha overhears this plan upon entering and announces she has no intention of staying. As she packs to leave, Liu Yan and Bing beg Yu Hong to stop her, but he refuses and she departs in anger. The plot takes a significant turn when Yu Hong receives the anonymous call again, this time revealing that the little girl he has been searching for is named Lin Sha. Meanwhile, he witnesses Lin Sha and Murin dancing together from a distance, which pains him and he leaves. Later, while drinking and thinking of Yu Hong, Lin Sha finds herself drawn back to his house. He sees her from the window and goes to her. She tells him he is not romantic at all. In a moment that seems destined for a kiss, they are interrupted by her hiccups and the moment is lost, observed by a watching Murin. The following day dawned to find Yu Hong in the grips of a fever. Noticing his flushed complexion and discomfort, Xiaoi's concern prompted her to search for a thermometer to properly assess his condition. As she moved to take his temperature, however, Yu Hong, in a sudden and unexpected gesture of intimacy, reached out and pulled her close to him. His voice, weakened by illness yet laced with a probing curiosity, murmured a question near her, asking if it was her nature to extend such diligent care to everyone she encountered. Flustered by both his physical proximity and the implication of his query, Xiaoi deflected, retorting that it wasn't just his body that was feverish but his head as well, suggesting he was not thinking clearly. Seemingly content with her presence, Yu Hong did not release her but instead rested his head against her, the warmth of his brow a tangible weight, and within moments succumbed to a fitful sleep. As the quiet of the room settled around them, Xiaoi, having stayed to ensure his comfort, found her own eyelids growing heavy, and she too drifted into slumber right there beside him. Morning light revealed the two of them still in the room. Upon waking, Yu Hong made a call to Liu Yan, ostensibly to receive updates regarding the office. Yet the moment he heard Xiaoi approaching, he swiftly ended the call, concealed his phone, and feigned a deep sleep. When Xiaoi entered, she was visibly confused about the events of the previous evening, questioning how she had ended up in his room. Seeing an opportunity to tease her, Yu Hong concocted a story, claiming that she had arrived at his door in a distraught state, and that after he had brought her inside, she had been the one to initiate a kiss. His tone then shifted from playful to possessively serious as he delivered a stern admonition. The way she had spent the night with him, in such a trusting and vulnerable manner, was something she was never to repeat at anyone else's residence. Taken aback by his audacity, Xiaoi demanded to know what right he had to speak to her in such a commanding way. He coolly replied that he was no one in particular, but he reminded her of a specific clause in the contract she had signed, which stipulated that without his explicit permission, she was forbidden from spending the night at any other residence. He further asserted that even in the absence of such a contractual obligation, her behavior would still have been inappropriate. He then pivoted the conversation, inquiring with a hint of genuine curiosity if her parents ever grew worried about her living away from home, and began to ask about her childhood. Their conversation was abruptly cut short when Xiaoi received an incoming call. A short while later, the household was joined by Bing and Liu Yan. In a characteristically enthusiastic manner, Bing sought to present Yu Hong with an item, but after a comical and extensive search through her belongings, she finally produced a distinctly feminine accessory that she wished to give to Liu Yan. He, however, was hesitant and refused the gift, which immediately ignited Bing's fiery temper. Intimidated by the force of her anger, Liu Yan quickly relented and accepted the item. Observing this dynamic, Xiaoi later asked Liu Yan why he appeared to be so profoundly fearful of Bing. The three of them then moved to the hallroom, where Bing announced her intention to prepare a special medicinal recipe for Yu Hong's recovery. In the kitchen, as she began her work, Xiaoyu presented Liu Yan with a traditional hanfu garment. After changing into the elegant attire, he struck a pose and asked Xiaoyu with a playful smirk if she did not agree that he was the more handsome of the two men when compared to Yu Heng. Amused, Xiaoyu readily affirmed that he was indeed more handsome. Unbeknownst to them, Yu Heng had overheard this entire exchange. Shortly thereafter, having just showered, he emerged into the room wearing an exceptionally fine hanfu of his own. He positioned himself directly in front of Xiaoyu and demanded to know if she did not think he looked superior to Liu Yan. Caught in an awkward position, Xiaoyu stammered that she could not possibly make such a comparison. Yu Heng pressed her, pointing out how freely she had praised Liu Yan, yet now she seemed to have lost her voice. As he moved closer to emphasize his point, a faint blush crept onto his own cheeks, betraying his emotions. Later, seeking solitude, Xiaoyu retreated to her room where she began working on a new design which she thoughtfully named Eternal Star. The atmosphere at the office, however, was less than serene. Whispers and speculation regarding the complex relationships between Xiaoyu, Yu Heng, and Murin had become a central topic of conversation. Amid this gossip, Miss Bai took Xiaoyu aside and offered a blunt piece of advice. For the sake of her reputation and peace, she should consider resigning from her position. Feeling disheartened, Xiaoyu was subsequently met by Ding, who offered a more constructive suggestion. He encouraged her to begin creating her designs under her own name, to establish her own identity separate from the office drama. Returning home that evening, Xiaoyu went to check on Yu Heng, her primary concern still being his health. She declared that he no longer seemed to have a fever, but as she moved away, her eye caught the discarded thermometer. Picking it up, she discovered that he had manually set the temperature to an alarmingly high reading. Confronting him, she accused him of having a severe fever, to which he nonchalantly replied that it was only a minor ailment. As he said this, he pulled the blankets over his head in an attempt to end the conversation. Xiaoyu, however, was not so easily deterred. She began to tug the blankets away, insisting that he must go to a hospital. In the midst of their playful struggle, she lost her balance and tumbled forward, landing directly on top of him. For a prolonged, breathless moment, they simply lay there, their eyes locked in a silent, intense exchange. On another occasion, Xiaoyu was tending to some plants on the balcony and asked Yu Heng to examine the quality of the soil. To do so, he reached out and took her hand, guiding it to the soil, his own hand covering hers. Once again, they found themselves caught in a shared gaze, the simple task forgotten in the weight of the unspoken connection passing between them. Later in the office, a flustered Yu Heng approached Liu Yan with a hypothetical question, claiming he had a friend whose heart began to race and whose face flushed whenever he found himself near a particular girl, and he wondered what such symptoms could possibly signify. Concurrently, Xiaoyu and Bing were preparing to visit the home of an experienced designer, a contact Ding had recommended. In a parallel moment of confession, Xiaoyu told Bing that she, too, had a friend who couldn't seem to stop thinking about a certain boy, and she inquired what that might mean. Almost in unison, though miles apart, both Yu Heng and Bing received the same diagnosis. It was love. Their visit to the esteemed designer's home, however, was not immediately successful. A young man at the entrance barred their way, preventing them from meeting with the lady of the house. Bing later recounted this frustrating encounter to Liu Yan, mentioning that Xiaoyu had been unable to secure the meeting and also revealing the designer's name. Upon hearing the surname Zhang, Liu Yan's interest was piqued. He recalled that Yu Heng had once extended a significant favor to a Ms. Zhang, and he was confident he could leverage that connection to arrange an introduction for Xiaoyu. Seeing an opportunity to foster a deeper connection between Yu Heng and Xiaoyu, Liu Yan and Bing hatched a mischievous plan. They decided to pretend to be in a romantic relationship themselves, hoping that the sight of their closeness would spark jealousy in their two friends and push them to acknowledge their own feelings. The plan was set into motion when all four of them went to visit the designer, Miss Zhang. A brief flashback revealed that Yu Heng had earlier asked Xiaoyu to go out with him that day, but she had refused. In response, he had promised that if she accompanied him the next day, he would bear all her expenses. Back in the present, as Bing and Liu Yan were quietly discussing their scheme, Xiaoyu approached and asked what they were talking about. Just then, Yu Heng announced that he needed to rest, and Xiaoyu immediately went to his side. Bing, catching Yu Heng's eye, saw a glint of understanding and realized he was complicit in their ploy. To break the ice, the group decided to play a game where one person would pose a question, and anyone who had done the action mentioned would have to fold a finger. The first person to fold all their fingers would lose. As the game progressed, Yu Heng posed a particularly pointed question. Whoever likes little star, fold your finger. In response, both Xiaoyu and Yu Heng slowly folded one of their fingers. This moment was accompanied by a poignant flashback to their childhood, where a young Shioi had given Yu-hung a star-shaped trinket, telling him, "You are my star," and he had reciprocated the heartfelt sentiment. Later in the game, Yu-hung asked another loaded question: whoever had made an important promise in their life fold a finger. Again, both he and Shioi folded a finger, triggering another childhood memory where a young Yu-hung, smitten with his friend, had proposed they get married when they grew up, and they had both made a solemn promise to do so. As the evening wore on, Yu-hung, having drunk several beers, began to behave with a childlike lack of inhibition. He moved close to Shioi, eventually resting his head heavily on her shoulder. She gently urged him to go and properly rest, but instead of complying, he only drew closer. She tried to reason with him, telling him to come to his senses and go to sleep, but he began complaining of feeling hot and started to remove his clothes. Alarmed, Shioi moved to stop him, and in the ensuing confusion, he grabbed her and pressed his lips to hers in a sudden, passionate kiss. Meanwhile, in a separate conversation, Bing and Liu Yan, while discussing their own burgeoning feelings, came to an agreement. Whenever Bing felt lonely, she would be welcome to seek out Liu Yan for company. The next morning, Yu-hung and Shioi returned to Miss Zhang's residence. The same young man who had previously turned them away recognized Yu-hung and immediately granted them entry. Miss Zhang greeted Yu-hung warmly, stating that she had been anticipating his visit. Her eyes then fell on Shioi and she inquired as to her identity. Without a moment's hesitation, Yu-hung declared, "She's my girlfriend." Shioi stood in stunned silence, completely taken aback by the bold and definitive claim. After reviewing some embroidery samples, the two departed. As soon as they were alone, Shioi confronted him, demanding to know why he had introduced her as his girlfriend. Yu-hung explained that it was the simplest way to circumvent the endless questions from people about what she truly meant to him. Privately, Shioi wondered if he had even retained any memory of the kiss they had shared the previous night. The following morning, both awoke with a palpable tension, each secretly wondering if the other would broach the subject of the night's intimate events. The silence was finally broken, not with a romantic confession, but with Yu-hung asking if she had remembered to clean the washroom. Furious at his mundane and dismissive question, Shioi's temper flared. The tension was further compounded when Murin arrived at the house. He announced to Shioi that he had rented a property right next door and insisted that she move in with him. Yu-hung, overhearing this, interjected with a cold command for Shioi to clean the table before she even thought about leaving. Angered by his tone and the entire situation, Shioi stormed out and went to Murin's new house. There, however, she found clarity. She told Murin that, despite everything, she had grown accustomed to living in Yu-hung's house. She gently but firmly stated that she could only ever consider him a friend, though she sincerely thanked him for all he had done for her. Around this time, an exhibition at Ding's company encountered a problem when a dress was damaged. Shioi happened to be present, and Ding noticed that the dress Shioi was wearing was remarkably similar in style to the one needed for the exhibit. Without hesitation, Shioi offered her own dress as a replacement. The garment was displayed to great acclaim, receiving abundant praise from the attendees. When she returned home, Yu-hung noticed her changed attire and immediately became jealous. Shioi quickly explained the situation at the exhibition, diffusing his suspicion. Later, when she refused to fetch him a glass of water, he simply took the glass she was drinking from and consumed its contents. When she protested that it was hers, he replied with a possessiveness that did not go unnoticed, stating that everything in his house was, by extension, his. In that moment, Shioi realized that in his own indirect way, Yu-hung had just referred to her as his own. Inspired to pursue her own path, Shioi decided she needed to embark on a new professional challenge. Yu-hung, perhaps in an effort to keep her close, facilitated her entry into his design team. He introduced her to the team members, announcing that he was appointing her to his own former position, the mass code post. Shioi was visibly displeased with this seemingly nepotistic appointment. Sensing her dissatisfaction, Yu-hung immediately offered her a substantial daily wage for the role. Upon hearing the sum, Shioi's objections vanished and she agreed to do whatever he asked. At the office, Yu-hung found his gaze continually drifting toward Shioi throughout the day. When she asked what her duties were, he informed her that he would be giving her a personal tour of his studio. She then inquired about her assigned seating, and he indicated the desk positioned directly opposite his own. As Shioi examined the new workspace and equipment that had been prepared for her, Yu-hung secretly watched her every reaction, a faint smile touching his lips. The company soon received a major order, which Murin proudly announced he had secured. Yu-hung, not to be outdone, immediately presented Shioi with an even larger order, tasking her with creating a line of dresses for the company. Murin countered by offering Shioi immediate payment for his order, sparking a competitive rivalry between the two men that played out through Shioi, leading to numerous arguments. Amid this, Bing called out to Shioi, announcing the arrival of another significant order. Overjoyed, Shioi rushed over and hugged Bing from behind. Murin, seeing this, also approached and embraced Shioi from behind in a show of camaraderie. Yu-hung, observing this intimate scene from a distance, felt a sharp, unpleasant twinge of jealousy. Shortly after, he received a phone call that left him visibly disturbed. He had discovered that the girl he had been searching for from his past was, according to this new information, not Xiaoi. That evening, Xiaoi made dumplings at home and offered some to Yu-hung. Still harboring some resentment from the day's events, he initially refused to eat them. However, after her persistent urging, he finally relented and tasted the food. At the office the next day, Bing told Xiaoi that she would be taking her on a date. Unbeknownst to them, a member of Yu-hung's team overheard this plan and promptly reported it back to the others, causing surprise and concern for both Yu-hung and Liu Yan. On the supposed date, Xiaoi was seen in deep conversation with a young man. At one point, both she and the man extended their hands forward, but before they could make contact, Yu-hung suddenly appeared and placed his own hand between theirs. In the same moment, Bing also placed her hand into the pile, and Liu Yan, arriving just then, placed his hand on top of hers. The confusion was quickly dispelled when Xiaoi introduced the young man named Yang to everyone as the team's new tailor. Preparing for a visit to Miss Zhang's house to learn from her, Xiaoi was checking a dress when Yu-hung questioned whether she truly needed to go. A flashback revealed that Xiaoi and Yangfan had been discussing Miss Zhang, and Yangfan, who claimed to know her, had offered to make an introduction on Xiaoi's behalf. Simultaneously, Yu-hung had called Miss Zhang himself to inform her that Xiaoi would be coming. Back in the present, Xiaoi teased Yu-hung, suggesting that he was acting out of jealousy. In response, he began to make disparaging remarks about Yangfan. Defensively, Xiaoi listed Yangfan's virtues, noting that he was even proficient at chopping vegetables. Seemingly provoked by this, Yu-hung immediately went to the kitchen, chopped a variety of vegetables with intense focus, and arranged them into an intricate design which he proudly named Little Star, presenting it to a touched Xiaoi. At Miss Zhang's residence, during their conversation, the older woman mentioned that Yu-hung had once promised to give a little star to a girl from his childhood. Misinterpreting this, Xiaoi's heart sank. She concluded that Yu-hung was still searching for this other girl and that Xiaoi was merely a placeholder. Just as this painful thought settled in, Yu-hung arrived and playfully covered her eyes from behind. Distraught, Xiaoi pulled away, stating that she needed to be alone. When he asked what was wrong, she confessed her misunderstanding, believing that the little star he sought was not her. She declared that had she known this sooner, she would never have allowed herself to become so emotionally close to him. Yu-hung urgently pleaded for a chance to explain, asserting that in his heart there was only Xiaoi and that she would remain there forever. But Xiaoi, hurt and convinced of his lingering attachment to a memory, told him to go and find his precious little star, and with that, she walked away. The next day, as Xiaoi was writing in her notebook, Yu-hung approached to bring her water but accidentally fumbled the glass, spilling its contents all over the pages. He rushed to blot the water, but Xiaoi, already on edge from their previous confrontation, began to pull the notebook away from him. In the struggle, a page was torn. The already tense situation escalated into a full argument. At that very moment, Xiaoi's mother called, announcing that she was in town and on her way over. In a panic, Xiaoi instructed Yu-hung to quickly change his clothes. He, misunderstanding her frantic request, reacted with shock, questioning her intentions and stating he wasn't ready for such a step. Flustered, Xiaoi clarified that she needed him to present himself more formally, and politely because her mother was arriving. Yu-hung saw an opportunity and stated he would only comply if she first forgave him for the notebook incident. She insisted there was no time for such negotiations. He remained stubborn, and to her horror, he went and opened the door himself. Xiaoi's mother was visibly surprised to find a young man answering the door. Xiaoi hurriedly began to explain, but her mother, jumping to conclusions, interrupted to say that she actually approved of him. Xiaoi insisted it was a misunderstanding, explaining that Yu-hung was merely her landlord. Yu-hung, however, added fuel to the fire by stating that Xiaoi lived with him at home and also worked with him in the studio. Xiaoi's mother, now thoroughly convinced of their relationship, pulled her daughter into a private room for a talk. There, Xiaoi expressed her gratitude for her mother's care, to which her mother replied that once Xiaoi and Yu-hung had a child of their own, she would understand the depth of such care. Xiaoi tried to explain about the other girl, little star in Yu-hung's life, but her mother dismissed it, assuring her that she was a wonderful person in her own right and should feel free to date him if she wished. Later that evening, in a puzzling move, Xiaoi's mother suddenly pushed her out of the bedroom. Confused, Xiaoi settled on the sofa to sleep. A power outage plunged the house into darkness, and a terrified Yu-hung emerged from his room seeking comfort. Xiaoi, sensing a presence behind her, turned to see him flicking a lighter on and off, his face illuminated in a way that startled her. He admitted his deep-seated fear of the dark, recounting a childhood trauma where he had been locked in a warehouse by other children. Sympathetic, Xiaoi led him to her room and helped him settle into the bed, asking him to rest there. Just then, her mother's voice was heard from the hallway. In a panic, Xiaoi dove under the blankets with Yu-hung to hide. She whispered, asking if her mother had left, and he whispered back that she should stay hidden a while longer. Exhausted, she fell asleep, and when she awoke in the morning, she was dismayed to find herself still in Yu-hung's bed, having slept through the night. She hurried out to the living room where her mother and Yoo-hung were calmly conversing. Her mother explained that Yoo-hung had told her about his fear of the dark, which was why he had sought Chaeyoe out. Chaeyoe vehemently insisted that nothing untoward had occurred. Murin later visited for a meal and specifically asked Chaeyoe's mother for her homemade dumplings, a request she happily agreed to fulfill. As they all sat down to eat, Yoo-hung coughed and Chaeyoe instinctively handed him a glass of water. Murin, seeing this attentive act, extended his own empty glass toward Chaeyoe, but she failed to notice. Chaeyoe's mother, however, did notice and bluntly told Murin to withdraw his hand, as Chaeyoe's attention was clearly elsewhere. During the meal, Yoo-hung bit down on a coin that had been hidden in one of the dumplings. Chaeyoe's mother explained that it was a tradition, and whoever found the coin would have a wish granted. Yoo-hung immediately turned to Chaeyoe and asked if she would accompany him to a specific place. She agreed, and they went to a movie theater, where in the intimacy of the dark hall, Chaeyoe made a promise to him. She would not leave him and go away. Afterwards, they visited a local market where Yoo-hung enthusiastically pointed out various products to her. There, they spotted Chaeyoe's mother speaking with renovation workers about Chaeyoe's childhood home. Chaeyoe went to speak with her mother, but Yoo-hung's expression fell, a shadow of disappointment crossing his face. As her mother prepared to depart, Yoo-hung asked if she couldn't stay longer. She offered him some heartfelt advice and then left. Chaeyoe suggested they both head out to their respective workplaces, but Yoo-hung, with a note of longing, confessed that what he truly wanted was to eat more of the dumplings made by her mother's hands. In his studio later, Yoo-hung sought romantic advice from Liu Yan, asking what qualities a girl typically looks for in a boy. Liu Yan listed off being rich, handsome, and sweet. Taking this advice to heart, Yoo-hung returned home and told Chaeyoe that he had cooked a meal for her. He then sweetly held her hand and led her to the table, and as a further grand gesture, he handed over his personal credit card to her. Chaeyoe was stunned by this series of actions, though she did eventually accept the card. Meanwhile, Murin was making his own preparations to win Chaeyoe's affection, inviting her to an important conference he was holding, an invitation she accepted. Elsewhere, Yoo-hung and Liu Yan informed Chaeyoe that their team also had a conference on the same day and extended their own invitation. When Chaeyoe mentioned her prior commitment to Murin's event, Yoo-hung was visibly hurt. On the day of the conferences, Chaeyoe attended Murin's as promised, but she found her thoughts wandering, feeling a strong pull that she should have been at Yoo-hung's conference instead. Yoo-hung's team waited anxiously backstage, and their anxiety was compounded when a team member reported that Murin's conference was rumored to include an announcement about his girlfriend, fueling fears that he might name Chaeyoe. Just as these worries peaked, Chaeyoe, having been urgently persuaded by Bing, arrived at Yoo-hung's conference. His face lit up with relief and joy, and he immediately reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining as they shared a long, meaningful look. Then boldly, Chaeyoe took the microphone from a reporter and made a public declaration. She was neither Murin's girlfriend nor Yoo-hung's sister. The reporters, sensing a story, pressed her, asking why she had been living in Yoo-hung's house amidst rumors of a scandal with Murin. As she faltered, unable to form a response, Yoo-hung took the microphone from her. He commanded the reporters to direct all their questions to him, and then, before everyone, he made a definitive statement. "From today, she is mine and I will protect her." News of this declaration quickly reached Murin's concurrent conference, causing a stir. A reporter announced that Yoo-hung had just publicly claimed Chaeyoe as his girlfriend. Murin was left shocked and devastated, requiring his assistant Jiao to usher him away from the scene. In the aftermath, Liu Yan sought out Bing and asked if their pretend relationship was now over. Bing, in turn, asked if he wanted to be rid of her. Her delight, Liu Yan confessed that he did not. He wished for them to remain a couple for real. Their happiness was momentarily interrupted when a rivalry between their team and a competitor, Wiz Han's team, escalated into a physical altercation. Meanwhile, in the quiet solitude of a car, Yoo-hung slowly reached for Chaeyoe's hand, and she without hesitation placed her hand in his, their fingers lacing together in a silent affirmation of their new relationship. Murin, on his way home, encountered Chaeyoe. In a conversation filled with unspoken pain, he told her that he had a date to get to. Believing he had moved on, Chaeyoe left feeling happy for him, while Murin, once alone, broke down in tears. The next day, as Chaeyoe was contemplating naming a new design Eternal Star, Murin approached her and asked what he would need to change about himself to be worthy of a relationship with her. Chaeyoe, with kindness and finality, told him that she liked him just the way he was, but as a friend. Later, Chaeyoe, Bing, and Yongfen were waiting in a restaurant for a potential client, who turned out to be Mr. Ding. He was shown a demo dress created by Chaeyoe and immediately recognized the influence of Miss Zhang's embroidery style. Impressed, he liked the design immensely and invited Chaeyoe to present her collection at a major exhibition. Bing, ever the advisor, told Chaeyoe that for her relationship with Yoo-hung to thrive, she needed to follow her guidance. Taking this advice, Chaeyoe later approached Yoo-hung while disguised as a boy and attempted to recite a seductive line Bing had taught her. She became flustered and misspoke, saying there was no one at home and asking how many more clues she needed to give him. Realizing her mistake, she tried to flee, but Yu Hung pulled her close and asked in a low voice if he should act upon what she had just implied. Blushing furiously, Shioi managed to extricate herself and escape. The next morning, she was so embarrassed she tried to hide her face from Yu Hung. He, however, sought her out and asked what she was doing. She claimed to be busy working on a new design. He then assigned her the task of creating uniforms for his entire team and asked her to take his personal measurements. During this close interaction, Shioi confessed that Bing had been the mastermind behind her awkward attempt at seduction the previous night. Yu Hung reassured her not to worry and told her that he had a better plan for navigating their relationship. Soon after, Muren's cousin Jin Xuan approached Yu Hung with a proposal to invest in his team. After some initial hesitation, Yu Hung agreed to the partnership. In a lighter moment, Yu Hung told Shioi he wanted to take her on a proper outing. Feeling shy, Shioi demurred, saying she had an errand to run first, after which she would decide whether to accompany him or not. Her destination was her old childhood school. There she met with a school administrator who remembered her. Shioi confided that she had been adopted as a child and had left the area at that time. The aunt revealed a crucial piece of information. In childhood, Shioi had been very close with a young boy, and that boy had been searching for her ever since. The aunt then made a phone call to Yu Hung, telling him that the girl he had been looking for had just visited the school, and her name was Shioi. Upon receiving this news, Yu Hung rushed to find Shioi. He showed her a necklace, a cherished token from his past, explaining that the little girl he had promised to marry had given it to him so they could find each other when they grew up. With trembling hands, Shioi retrieved an identical necklace from her own possession. The revelation was overwhelming and joyous. They were the long-lost childhood sweethearts. They embraced each other tightly, the years of separation melting away in an instant. Back at home, their newfound intimacy flourished. As Shioi chopped vegetables for dinner, Yu Hung came up behind her and kissed her softly on the cheek. In response, she playfully fed him a piece of vegetable, which prompted him to kiss her again. This sweet cycle continued until Shioi laughingly protested that if he kept distracting her, he would have no dinner. He ceased the kisses but continued to hold her in a warm, lingering embrace, their love finally acknowledged and secure. Their happiness was shared by their friends. Yongfen and Bing approached Shioi, explaining that their shared project was running out of space in the studio and they needed to ask Yu Hung for more. Shioi, with newfound confidence, told them it wasn't necessary to ask and to take whatever space they needed. Amused, Yongfen and Bing teased her, calling her Miss Boss. Bing then confided that Liu Yan had not been taking her out on dates. Shioi explained that his grandmother was ill, which was occupying his time. Bing, wanting to help, went to the hospital, paid the grandmother's medical fees in full, and arranged for a private nurse. When Liu Yan discovered this, he was not grateful but offended. He confronted Bing, angry that she had overstepped, explaining that as someone from a middle-class background, he understood the value of money and had been saving diligently to cover the expenses himself. He felt that her wealth had allowed her to bypass a struggle that was important to him. Hurt and crying, Bing went to Shioi, who agreed that while her intentions were good, she should have consulted Liu Yan first. Yu Hung then called Liu Yan, demanding to know what had transpired and telling him to come and reconcile with Bing. Liu Yan stated bluntly that they had broken up. Yu Hung advised him to take the next day off to cool down. After the call, Yu Hung went and embraced Shioi, who was in the midst of dusting the furniture. When she asked if he wasn't afraid of the dust, he replied that he was far more terrified of the prospect of losing her. As he drew closer to kiss her, the doorbell rang. They opened the door, their bodies still closed, to find Shioi's father standing there, his face a mask of anger, with her mother standing beside him. Shioi's mother took Yu Hung aside and advised him that if he wanted to prove his serious intentions toward their daughter, he needed to make a grand gesture. Taking this advice to heart, Yu Hung arranged a romantic proposal to Shioi, and she, with tears of happiness, accepted. Her father's anger seemed to intensify, though it was later revealed that this was largely an act. He wanted to ensure that Yu Hung, by fearing his disapproval, would always treat Shioi with the utmost care and respect. Meanwhile, Liu Yan confessed to Yu Hung that he was miserable without Bing. Yu Hung counseled him to apologize and treat her better. Seeking to improve his standing with Shioi's father, Yu Hung realized that Muren, who had grown close to the man, would know his likes and dislikes. Swallowing his pride, Yu Hung went to Muren and asked for this information, even requesting to stay at his house for a short time to learn more. Muren agreed, but on one condition. In return, Yu Hung would have to pretend to be subordinate to him in front of his cousin Jin Xuan. Muren's motive was clear. Since Jin Xuan had chosen Yu Hung as a business partner, Muren wanted to elevate his own status by making it appear that the successful Yu Hung was beneath him, a small revenge for Yu Hung having won Shioi's heart. Yu Hung played along, accompanying Muren to a meeting with Jin Xuan and acting as instructed. Later, during a tense family meal with Shioi and her parents, her father attempted to offer Yu Hung a substantial sum of money to break up with Shioi. The insult cut deeply, but Shioi quickly intervened, steering the conversation back to the food. Her father continued to find ways to taunt and intimidate Yu Hung, citing obscure customs about men not eating until the women had begun. Concurrently, Bing went to visit Liu Yan's grandmother one last time. As she was leaving, Liu Yan stopped her and confessed that he did not want her to leave him. Bing reminded him that they had broken up, but he pleaded for another chance. A peculiar competition then ensued between Yu Hung and Xiaoi's father, a contest to see who could peel a pomegranate faster. To everyone's surprise, Yu Hung won. As the victor, he was granted a wish. Xiaoi, seizing the moment, spoke for him, begging her father to accept their relationship. Yu Hung then showed her father the childhood necklace, and Xiaoi produced its match. He spoke earnestly, explaining that he had known and cherished Xiaoi since they were children and solemnly promised to take the very best care of her for the rest of her life. Moved by this display and the proof of their long-standing bond, Xiaoi's father finally gave his blessing, though he warned that he would still subject Yu Hung to a few more tests. Bing, having learned from her mistakes, sought Xiaoi's help in reconciling with Liu Yan, though she was initially resistant. Xiaoi facilitated a meeting by telling Bing that Liu Yan had sent her a coffee. As Bing was refusing it, claiming she didn't like coffee, Liu Yan himself walked by. He informed them that the boss was with a client and asked them not to disturb him, creating an opportunity for a conversation. Later, Yu Hung's team was celebrating with a party. As Yu Hung reached for a drink, Xiaoi stopped him, remembering his uninhibited behavior the last time he had consumed alcohol. He assured her that he remembered everything he had done that night. Meanwhile, Bing and Liu Yan did partake in the drinks, and as the evening progressed, Liu Yan, emboldened by alcohol and emotion, went to Bing and kissed her. Seeing this, Yu Hung was inspired to draw closer to Xiaoi. Just then, Bing stumbled into the room, and Yu Hung quickly directed her to a nearby bedroom to rest, the same room where Liu Yan was already sleeping. Seeing him there, Bing asked if he was asleep. Next door, Xiaoi, her ear pressed to the wall, tried to listen for any sounds from Bing's room. Yu Hung told her to go to sleep and then leaned in to kiss her, but seeing her nervousness, he gently pressed his lips to her forehead instead. The next morning, it was clear that Bing and Liu Yan had reconciled and were once again a happy couple. After a period of intense work, Yu Hung told his team to take a well-deserved rest. His competitor, Wiz Han, however, ordered his own team to continue working non-stop. In a private moment, Yu Hung asked Xiaoi for a kiss on both cheeks. When she complied, he puckered his lips for a real kiss, but she laughingly evaded him. The day of the final design competition arrived, and after a fierce contest, Yu Hung's team emerged victorious. In the celebratory chaos, Yu Hung couldn't find Xiaoi. Liu Yan, who was in on a secret plan, promised to locate her. Suddenly, the lights went out. Yu Hung stepped out of his room to find the space transformed by beautiful decorations that Xiaoi had arranged. She stepped forward and told him, "I will always stand before you like this." Later, everyone gathered at Yu Hung's house for a celebratory meal. There, Miran approached Xiaoi and offered a sincere apology for having pursued her so relentlessly when her heart belonged to another. Finally, Yu Hung and Xiaoi found a quiet moment for themselves. Xiaoi turned to him and made a final, heartfelt vow. "We both will be together from childhood until we grow old." And with this promise sealing a love that had endured since their earliest years, their story reached its joyful and satisfying conclusion.